Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
Matterhorn Matt presents Matterhorn Mondays.
Hey there, Mountaineers. Welcome to episode 69 of Matterhorn Mondays. I'm your host, Matterhorn Matt.
And I'm Alex the Historian, and in this episode we will be talking about epic-style Disney news. Hey guys, spell iCup out loud. You won't do that, will you guys? Welcome, everybody, to a very special episode of Matterhorn Mondays. There are 7 people currently watching the stream. We appreciate every single one of you. There's 8 now. That's epic. Thank you guys for tuning in today. And before I forget, because I did forget last week to wish you all a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas and whatever else you guys may celebrate. I want to wish you guys a happy new year. Even though this episode won't be dropping on January 1st, it will be airing the week of the first week of the year, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know what I'm doing, you guys. I have a really bad headache. It's gotten better in like the past 45 minutes, but it's still up there. So we'll see how this stream goes. Not really sure. Not really sure how this is gonna pan out, but how'd you guys' holidays been? Hope you all had a wonderful Christmas or whatever other holiday you may celebrate, or if you don't celebrate any of those holidays, we hope you had a good week nonetheless. Yeah, Alex, how was your Christmas?
It was really wonderful, actually. I made I made prime rib, and yeah, everybody loved that. So that was, and then we opened presents and stuff. So I got some cool things. Like I got some like really cool Jurassic Park socks, which like last night was so cold. I was like, I'm gonna wear socks to bed because like my feet are really cold. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wear my Jurassic Park socks because I don't want to wear them in shoes because I don't want to damage them. So I'm like, okay, so I put on the socks, but as my feet are going in the socks start to like expand and expand and expand to the point where like they're like you could see very well in between the stitching. So it's like I'm like, what are these, like stockings? Like I was like, I can't wear these. These will not keep me warm or even like last more than like being worn 2 times. So I was kind of upset.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I got socks that have tacos on them. So that's not as cool as Alex's Jurassic Park socks, but it's still pretty sweet. Anyways, I guess we should just get into this week's, what is it even called? I minimized the program. Get into this week's news from the peak.
We now present to you news.
Oh wait, I did that
from
completely
the peak.
wrong. Okay, I was supposed to play the transition, but I didn't. I accidentally just played the voice line. So we're gonna do that again.
We now present to you news from the peak.
Alright, everybody, welcome to this wonderful, perfect segment of Matterhorn Mondays. News from the peak, and we got some really special news for you guys if you guys are into boring news. There hasn't been a lot of big Disney news that's been happening these past couple weeks. So that's why you're seeing all these small, not really that important stories that we've been talking about. But take 3, finally got it. Yes. Now we have, I guess, what am I trying to say? I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Okay. For our first bit of news from the peak, there has been a leak everybody. A leak in Disney, or I guess not necessarily in Disney, leaked Frozen 2 concept art has been revealed, courtesy of Instagram user. I haven't, well, most of these are, or at least these 2 articles, or I guess 3 from News from the Peak, are all provided from to us from WDW News Today. So according to them, the Frozen 2 concept art leak was from an Instagram user at the.cursed.prince. And he posted, I don't know if it's still up. I probably should have checked before the stream. It could be still up. If you guys who have Instagram would like to check right now and inform me, I guess. But yeah, there has been leaked concept art for Frozen 2 depicting Anna and Elsa in new outfits and also a new hairdo for Anna, you guys. That is awesome. Don't you guys just love new hairdos and new outfits? That's awesome. This is not the right picture. This is the picture of leaked Frozen 2. The image comes to us from a Russian calendar promoting Disney's 2019 films. So not that much to say here, except this could be fake. It doesn't look, I mean, at least to me, as like a graphic designer person, it looks like it could be fake, but then again, it could also be real. So take all these 2 leaks with a grain of salt, especially the next one, which is another leaked piece of concept art for Toy Story 4, brought to us by Twitter user at, I don't even think this is a word, at DOALX, Doalx. Yeah. Apparently this is a piece of, what did they call it? An in-store display promoting the new film. There was no information regarding where this was taken, if it was taken in the USA or in like another country, but I'm sure you guys know that the plot of Toy Story 4 will be about Woody, Buzz, and the rest of the gang searching for Bo Peep, and as you can see in this piece of leaked image, there's Woody, there's Buzz, and there is a brand new, redesigned Bo Peep. I'm not really sure how to feel about that. She kind of looks evil. Her eyebrows, she looks evil. That's all I'll say about that. So yeah,
you notice that her arm is wrapped.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like wrapped like with gauze or something.
Yeah, maybe she like gets shot in the arm or something. I don't know. I'm just you guys can come up with theories if you want. But yeah, she does look very strange. At least in my opinion, compared to, I should have brought up a comparison image of how she looked in the previous films. But yeah, her face kind of looks it just doesn't look right to me. Yeah, I mean, this could be fake.
Maybe she's an imposter.
That'd be an interesting plot point. She could be an imposter. I don't know. But we were pointing out on the Discord that the Woody, that image of Woody, I'm pretty sure I've seen that exact render or image of Woody and used in like other, maybe it was like Toy Story 3 promotional art. So that's really the main thing that leads me to believe that this could be fake. But I mean, again, I don't know why someone would go through the effort to fake this. So yeah, just take this with a grain of salt. And what am I trying to say? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Moving on to our third and final bit of Disney news. Kermit the Frog was recently interviewed, you guys, by a Los Angeles TV station, KCAL. He was asked about what kind of new projects were coming for the rest of the Muppet Gang, him and the rest of the Muppet Gang. And he replied, this is Kermit's quote, you guys. I'd read it in Kermit's voice, but I can't do a good Kermit impression. But he says, well, we've got a big surprise planned for the new year. The new year meaning 2019. I'd love to tell you what it is, but I don't know what it is either, end quote. So that's coming straight from the mouth of Kermit the Frog, you guys. He's teasing all of us about a new Muppets project coming in 2019. I believe the rumor was a series on the Disney Plus streaming service, which we're going to talk about more later on in the show. But yeah, that comes straight from the mouth of Kermit the Frog, so you guys know it's not fake. Unless it was an imposter Kermit the Frog. You never know with those Muppets. I don't even know anymore. Okay, anyways, so that's it for news from the Peak. And before we get into, yeah, it could be a Muppet Show reboot. I don't really know how well received the last Muppet Show was on ABC. I never watched it. I think I watched one episode. I've never really been a fan of the Muppets. I mean, they're okay. But I'm not like a hardcore Muppet fanboy, if that makes sense. But before we get into the main topics for today, we do have an update regarding everyone's favorite audio animatronic, Buzzy, from Cranium Command. This update was provided to us by WDW News Today. Links will be in the description below. Now, I'm sure you guys remember us reporting last week that Buzzy was stolen straight from Cranium Command. Yeah, big gasp, everybody. It's a very sad time for all of the Buzzy fanboys out there in the world. I don't think anybody knew that Buzzy existed up until he got stolen. Unless you were like an original fan of like Cranium Command, because I had no idea what or who Buzzy was until it was, you know, all over Twitter that he got robbed of his rightful throne up in the Cranium Command centerpiece. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Shaden says he's got some stuff to say in the waiting room. We'll get to him after we go through all the brand new details. After these messages, we're going to a quick commercial break, you guys. But yeah, we'll get to the waiting room. You know, we haven't used the waiting room in a while. I guess if you guys have anything you'd like to say to Buzzy, whether it be how Buzzy changed your life in any way, shape, or fashion, why you love Buzzy, or if you just have any opinions on the recent theft itself, go ahead and hop in the waiting room on our Discord. Excuse me, on our Discord server. Yeah, we'll get to that after we finish reporting or giving out the sweet details on all of this. So, like I said, last week Buzzy was stolen. You guys all remember that. This current week, a new police report was released that suggests that his red jacket, green cap, and also his hands, you guys, were stolen between August 1st through the 8th of 2018. And the estimated value is upwards of $500 for all of the items combined. So, before Buzzy was even stolen himself, he got dismembered. His hands were stolen. And he was also naked when he was stolen. So that just makes it even more sad, in my opinion. Earlier this month, a suspect was questioned regarding the clothing theft. Initially, the suspect refused to hand over his phone, but he was detained and the phone was taken. The suspect has not been charged with the theft of the clothes, nor the figure by the Orange County deputies, but was charged with resisting arrest without violence. So, yeah, more details on Buzzy. And there was also a new image. Well, I guess I'll switch to the police report. If you guys can read that, you'd have to like screenshot it and zoom in if you want to be able to read the police report, just because it's so tiny. I can't even make out the words from here on my screen. But that's the police report of the theft of his clothes and his hands. I feel so bad for Buzzy. He didn't have any hands. But there is also a new image provided by Mickey Views, provided to him by an anonymous source. And I guess this is supposed to be the big ol' connector cord, I guess, that goes in his back that controls him. And as you can see, that is like... It doesn't even look like it was like sawed or like cut through. It looks like it was bitten off. At least in my opinion. So,
So you're saying that the naked Buzzy animatronic had his cord bit off?
it did. That's what it looks like to me. Unless it was like a giant who snuck in Cranium Command and like put Buzzy, wrapped him in his mouth and like just chomped down a few times on the connector cords and just like ripped it off, and then he was eaten and then swallowed. That's always an option, you guys. So I don't think there's also been any concrete confirmation that he was actually stolen. I've been trying. It's a very confusing situation, you guys. I've been trying to follow it all on Twitter and of course on WDW News Today. I don't think there's been besides the police report that was revealed. We do know for sure that his clothes were stolen and his hands were stolen. Poor Buzzy. I can't even imagine how scared he must have been when he was naked without any hands. He couldn't even like punch to defend himself because he didn't have any hands. But yeah, as far as I know, so far the only concrete information we have on Buzzy is that his clothes and hands were stolen. Of course, these details could change in the future, and we will update you on any new developments regarding Buzzy in future episodes of Matterhorn Mondays. So, or if you guys have any information yourself that you'd like to reveal straight to us, I guess you can DM me on Twitter or on Instagram, or I guess you can email me, ytmatterhornmat.com. Any really means of communication that you have, it would be greatly appreciated if you helped in the aid of finding the Buzzy animatronic. But yeah, like I said, there's no, as far as I know, no concrete information that he's actually been stolen. This image just could have been taken, like a couple days ago when the Imagineering or whatever decided to take him out and I guess put him, what was the term they were using? Put him in not in like storage, but you guys know what I mean. They could have Disney could have removed him himself. But yeah, hashtag save Buzzy, everybody. Hashtag find Buzzy on Twitter. If you guys have any new information, please come forward to either us or the Orange County Police Department, because Buzzy is missing and he needs to be found. He's missing his family so much, I can tell. Just by the look on his face, just look at that beautiful face. Look at him. Who would steal this precious soul? He wasn't doing nothing wrong. He was just sitting there trying to take a nap. But anyways, that's it for Buzzy. Hope you all enjoyed listening about Buzzy. But yeah, moving on to our main two topics. Let's see. A new video was released of Galaxy's Edge and its two attractions during the Disney Parks Magical Christmas Parade on Christmas Day, which, before we get into this, I'd just like to say that the Disney Parks Magical Christmas Parade is one of the worst things I've ever watched. I only tuned in for like, oh no, okay, I completely forgot Shaden was trying to say something. So we'll move him in from the waiting room. Hello. I definitely did not forget that you had something to say regarding Buzzy. Is he there? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. So, what do you have to say regarding Buzzy the animatronic? Are you here to confess, or are you here to just pay your respects to Buzzy?
I'm here to destroy them with facts and logic.
Okay, perfect.
As they would say. So the Cranium Command room that it's all being placed in is so bent out of shape that we're not even sure what happened to the animatronic, but we think that the hypothalamus animatronic, which is a separate animatronic that was not stolen, or maybe wasn't stolen, I don't know. We think that it was archived. But I think that the Buzzy situation is really interesting because of how badly out of shape the entire building is. Because even if they were to steal Buzzy, it probably wouldn't function. They did some testing, I think it was either in August or July in the Wonders of Life Pavilion, to see how the animatronic would function, and they could get some fluid movement out of it, but not very much. Most of it was jerky and broken up. So whoever out there has the Buzzy animatronic, whether it be the archives or some random collector, it's pretty much just a statue at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And it has no clothes.
I mean, I guess you could always tailor new clothes specifically for Buzzy, but well, thank you. Is that you're not going to confess or anything?
I made a sculpture of hypothalamus.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but oh, that was you were talking about the animatronic. Okay. I'm just out of whack today. But anyways, thank you so much for bringing forth this information. Again, if you guys have any other information regarding Buzzy, please come forward. Preferably not to us. I said you could DM us, but I guess it would be much better if you just went straight to, I guess, like the police department. I don't know. Who would you even call if you like saw like Buzzy in like the back of a pickup truck driving around the interstate in Florida? I guess you could call the police, right? But they probably wouldn't even know what a Buzzy is. Anyways, we're going to be moving on now to, like I said, or like I was saying, I was talking about the Disney Parks Magical Christmas Parade, about how it was one of the worst things I've ever seen. You know, I haven't really been a fan of the 60th anniversary TV special, whatever they aired a few years ago. And I think there was another one they did this past few months ago for Disneyland's birthday. It's just packed full of different Disney, what is it, Radio Disney celebrities that I haven't ever heard of or care about. I think there was like a lot of K-pop in the thing. Yeah, hashtag not my Disney, Nate. But yeah, I just felt like I should put that out there. Let's see. Yeah, there was a new video released of Galaxy's Edge, and it's 2 new attractions during that parade. I'll play the video, but I'm gonna keep it muted while I talk about everything. So if you guys have not seen the video, link will be in the description, or you can just go to where did I get this from? This was from mickeyblog.com. If you guys would like to watch the full video, or just the Disney Parks YouTube channel, whichever you prefer. But okay, it's playing. So yeah, there was brand new footage revealed of the 2 new attractions. They also talk about just the land in general. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, I'll not play it. I'll just like skip through it, just so you guys can see the new shots and everything. There's a lot of people from Lucasfilm that are sitting and talking, and then there's also new footage. I'm not sure if it's actual footage from the attractions themselves, or if it's just like what am I trying to say? Well, there's the Smuggler's Run, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run footage, and then here's Rise of the Resistance. It shows the actual what is it called? The vehicles moving around, so that's pretty cool. The trackless vehicle, that is. And if you guys are big Star Wars fans, I'm sure this will be amazing. Of course, he says you'll get to interact with Kylo Ren in the attraction itself, and this part looks really cool. Live, or full size what are they? AT-ATs, or are those the AT-STs, the big ones? I don't know, or really?
They're AT-ATs.
AT-ATs, okay. But anyways, Bryce has to leave. Goodbye, Bryce. Hope you have a great rest of your day. The new video does showcase both new attractions, Rise of the Resistance, and Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, and Star Wars Rise of the Resistance will mark the largest, most impressive, or immersive attraction in the theme park's 63-year history. So that sort of tells you how epic this ride's going to be. And then, of course, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Guests will be able to man the cockpit of the famous Millennium Falcon, with everyone taking on a special role. We talked about that a few months ago, I believe. Why does Galaxy's Edge take place during the sequel trilogy? I don't know. I really wish it's... Because I need to burp. Oh my gosh. Excuse me.
Oh my god.
Excuse me. We talked about this a few months ago. I was saying how, since it takes place in the sequel trilogy and it's technically canon in the new trilogy, you can't you can't see Darth Vader walking around. Only Kylo Ren and Rey. Excuse me. Yeah, you can't have like a walk around Darth Vader since he's dead, of course, in the sequel trilogy. Just Kylo Ren and Rey and Finn. I don't even know if they're going to be walk around characters. I know Kylo Ren is probably most likely going to be a walk around character because he's wearing a mask. But yeah, it's very interesting the way they've decided to do Galaxy's Edge and make it canon in the sequel trilogy. I guess they wanted it to be, what's the word that Michael Eisner always used? They wanted it to be oh man, I cannot remember the word he used. But anyways, Alex, what are your thoughts on the new footage, or I guess, what are your thoughts on Galaxy's Edge taking place during the sequel trilogy?
Well, honestly, I'm really disappointed because, I mean, I get that a lot of people love the sequel trilogy, but there's also a lot of people who, like me, grew up with the original trilogy, and and it's kind of like we've always wanted to see a Star Wars land, all our lives, but yet all the people who are fans of the sequel trilogy are the ones who are getting their new land. So it's kind of like, it's what's the word? It's just disappointing, like I don't really have any interest in riding the two rides that are there, only because it's completely all about the new characters. And I'm not a fan of the new characters. I don't like the new characters, and I feel like I'm already off-put. I haven't even rode the ride yet, and I'm already off-put by it. So yeah, I mean, I'll go around Galaxy's Edge and I'll look at the shops and this stuff and then try to pretend I'm in the original trilogy there. Yeah. But there's no way I could pretend when I'm on the new rides. So I don't know. Because I mean, my opinions aside, I think other people would agree with me that it would have been really cool to see Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker or somebody else, from the original trilogy around there. But yeah, Darth Vader especially. I mean, it's sad.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a lot more epic to see Darth Vader walking around instead of Kylo Ren, because it's kind of strange. I've mentioned this briefly before, a few episodes ago, I think, but it's kind of strange the way, if you look at it from Disney's perspective, just a few months they said that they were slowing down on all their different Star Wars developments. I think there was a Boba Fett movie, an Obi-Wan movie, and I think Rian Johnson was supposed to get a trilogy, and some other person was supposed to get another trilogy. And since the underperformance of, I just broke this thing completely in half. Okay, I was playing with like a bobby pin and it just snapped in half. But it's kind of interesting to look at it, since Solo didn't do as well in the box office, and then Disney said that they were going to be slowing down on all their Star Wars developments, because of course Disney is going all in on this Galaxy's Edge land, and yeah, it's just very interesting to look at it from that perspective, I guess. And of course, The Last Jedi was very divisive among a lot of the fans. I thought it was a good movie. Just not a good Star Wars movie. I feel like Rian Johnson did a wonderful job with the cinematography, and a lot of the shots were very beautiful, and some scenes were really cool. Some scenes were not really cool. Yeah, it's just really interesting to look at it from that perspective. But I'm sure I don't know. I'm not really interested in Star Wars anymore. The Last Jedi and Solo just really kind of turned me off to all of Star Wars. I used to love Star Wars, and now Disney ruined my dreams of loving Star Wars. Not really. A lot of people say that, but I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm not really interested as much in Star Wars. Like, if this Galaxy's Edge opened when the first... What was that one? The first one called... the first of the new trilogy. Oh my gosh.
Force Awakens?
Yeah, I was going to say A New Hope. That's not... But yeah, I guess they're exactly the same, but... Yeah, if this would have came out, like, right when The Force Awakens came out, I would have been on board. Because back then I was just a wee child who loved Star Wars. But now that I've grown and I guess learned more, I don't know. You guys probably don't even follow. You're not even following what I'm saying. But I'm sure it's the same for a lot of people out there. Or they're in the same boat as me. I'll go on the rides once, see if they're cool, and if they're neat, I'll probably go on them again. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't really know how well Star Wars is going to do. Nate said in chat, are they going to change it to the original / prequel trilogies when the sequels become irrelevant? I don't know. That's interesting. I might have said this on the Discord or on Twitter. I asked everybody there, well, how long do you think Galaxy's Edge would be maintained with its sort of like immersive environment? Because I'm sure you guys have all heard there's going to be like a lot of walk around characters that are going to be interacting with the guests, and I think at one point it was said that most most of the cast members wouldn't be like wearing normal cast member name tags. They were going to be all in character. Where else did I hear this? I heard that I think I heard from the meetup somewhere. Someone was talking about how if you're not in character for Galaxy's Edge, if you're not a cast member not in character, you won't be able to enter Galaxy's Edge. If you're a cast member, I could be remembering it wrong, but that was sort of along the lines of what I remember, whoever it was that said that. So it's interesting.
I heard that too.
Yeah, I can't remember where. It might have been from one of you guys in chat. I can't remember, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how long they maintain that immersive experience for the guests, like say 10 or 15 years after the sequel trilogy is over. Because I mean, of course. Go ahead. Perfect.
I have a question about that. I
Yes.
mean, because you see, it's already hard enough for people to figure out who is a cast member at Disneyland. I know that sounds like ridiculous to everybody listening right now, but when I was a cast member, like if I worked at Riverbell Terrace, nobody could tell from my costume that I was a cast member, even though when I look at the costume, I'm like, wow, no one in their life would wear this, right? But like, because I'm talking about the Riverbell Terrace costume that I wore, and it's just funny because people a lot of times would say, oh, I didn't know you were a cast member. Like, I thought you were just a person who, like, somebody said I dressed like I was from the 1940s. And I'm like, how does this look like the 1940s? Anyway, and so the point is, if they can't even tell an obvious costume is a cast member costume, how are they going to tell that a cast member in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge without a name tag is a cast member? And even then, you know, what they're going to be wearing in Galaxy's Edge, I mean, it's probably going to look definitely different than what a normal person wears.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it can't look too expensive because cast member costumes are worn out so quickly that they need to be easily repaired by the costuming department, which, you know, to be totally honest, isn't super skilled at crazy costumes. They're only good at repairing basic looking garments. You know, like the most difficult garment for them to repair, I think, is like probably the Pirates of the Caribbean garment, or maybe the Star Tours garment. Anyway, my point is, is that in the event, like someone might have an emergency, someone needs to go to the hospital, you know, and they're looking for someone to help them.
Yeah.
How are they going to know who can help them? You know, and even then, I doubt all the cast members are going to be wearing the same costume.
Oh, yeah,
So,
for sure.
you know, because of this so-called immersive. So it's like, you know, it just seems like a huge logistical problem to me. You know, and I think name tags will at least help the issue. So
yeah, I agree. Like I said, I don't remember exactly what or where I remember hearing what I said before before you said what you said. I
you
think
probably
it was,
made it up.
I most certainly could have made it up. At this point, I have no idea. I think I heard it from someone from the meetup last month.
I feel like it came from DSNY Newscast.
It could have been him too. It could have been any one of the Disney news sites out there. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I want you guys to leave your predictions. How long Disney will maintain the immersiveness in Galaxy's Edge after the sequel trilogy is completed. Because this year we have Episode 9, which is supposed to be the end, I guess like the end of the Skywalker saga. So it'll be, of course, the end of the sequel trilogy. And then, who knows, I'm sure they're eventually going to make another, like maybe like 15 billion more trilogies after that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure there's a way where they can write the canon for the name of the planet this is on. I think it's called like Batu or something like that. I'm sure there's a way for them to write the canon for the land, so it doesn't change at all, even though it's like 5 movies down the line. We have a whole bunch of new characters probably. Yeah, it'll just be interesting to see. Leave your predictions, and then we'll come 10, 15 years later, I guess, we'll compare and see who got it more, or who got it right. Yeah, I guess that wraps up that. Unless Alex has anything else you'd like to add to Galaxy's Edge.
I hope the food is good.
Yes. I hope the food is good too. I hope the land is good. Oh, one other interesting thing to say. Mark from his channel, TASG, Mark, said the other day the park hit capacity, or Disneyland hit capacity, and that wasn't even with Galaxy's Edge open. So it'll be interesting to see. We've said this before, but it'll be interesting to see how Galaxy's Edge performs during especially this time of year, during these peak months, or I guess like peak days of the calendar.
Oh man, it's gonna be like I'm gonna be there, and the reason why I'm gonna be there, not because I want to be there necessarily, but because I just have to see how Disney handles all those people in the park. You know, like, it's already a problem. Like on New Year's Eve, people like camp out, you know, in order to get in the park in the morning, so that way they can be there at nighttime. And I can only just imagine what it's going to be like every day that summer, people just camping outside, you know, and then of course, how they're going to get people through the park easily, you know, with all these what we call pinch points where the area just bottlenecks, you know, and then on top of that, you know, exactly how they're going to manage, you know, the amount of people that are going to be in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, some people are saying that, oh, they could have people line up outside the entrances and then they'll let people in as soon as they know that enough people have left, which is going to be a small trickle of people leaving.
Yeah.
Not going to be a big trickle of people. People are going to want to stay there all day. So I'm going to be there to see that. I'm going to, you know, go through living hell to do that. And I'm going to video it for all you guys to see.
Yes.
I'm gonna even special video just for Matt's channel.
Yes. I'm gonna try and be there too. I don't know. When does it open? I think people were saying like Memorial Day, summer. It's gonna be open. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna try and be there too.
It'll be open in probably the beginning of summer. Most likely July. That's when they do summer attractions. That's when they open summer attractions is in July. So it'll probably be July. And yeah, I'm gonna try to be there the day it opens. I have the special pass, the whatever. Anyway, but yeah, so I have to see as a cast member how they're gonna do it. It's just gonna be so unbelievably jam-packed today. And I have to see. Yeah.
You know, I have a feeling one of the this just came into my head right now. Since Disney's moving towards I guess like moving away from the paper fast passes, all that stuff with Max Pass and all that. And since Disney, I don't think they completely got rid of it, but they've had the board that has like all the wait times up on in the hub. It's been like closed, shuttered off.
Actually, it's open again.
Is it? Okay. Well, I guess
I was there 2 weeks ago, and they had it open. I used to work at that information booth with the board, and like about every year, sometime they need to close it and then like fix it up, because what happens is like the little wait time signs are made of magnets, and they scratch up the board and they get damaged because cast members drop them and stuff like that. So they have to make new ones, and then they need to like repaint the backside of the board because the magnets are attached to the paint of the board. So I think it was just a basic little refurbishment of the board, honestly.
Okay. Well, in any case, there's a little sign above the thing that encourages people to use the Disney experience or whatever it is, the Disneyland app, to look at the wait times. I have a feeling they're gonna integrate that somehow with the ability to get into Galaxy's Edge. Maybe, I don't know, I'm just trying to come up with this right now. Maybe they'll have an option for like a fast pass, or maybe they probably won't call it a fast pass, to get into the land, and once your fast pass is time to be redeemed for you to actually go into the land, you'll probably get like a notification on your phone or something. And then you can go ahead.
That sounds like that might be it. That sounds like that might be a plan. It's like the smartest thing I've ever heard you say.
Well, thank you. I just came up with this right off the top of my head. But it does sound like a really good idea. I could see Disney doing that. Again, you'd have to have like 3 or 4 fast pass scanners at like the entrance, each entrance of the land, for people to scan their phones. And then there's the option of people who don't have a smartphone. Maybe they'll have like a paper fast pass distribution center for to get entrance to Galaxy's Edge. And again, if they do that, they probably won't even call them fast passes. They'll probably call them something stupid that sounds Star Warsy, you know. But yeah, that's my idea on how they're gonna manage people getting into Galaxy's Edge. The other thing is how they're gonna get people out. That's another, like, you could probably spend all day in Galaxy's Edge, honestly, and I guess Disney wouldn't really want you to do that. They probably want you in there for like an hour, maybe 2 hours, I don't know, and then they'll leave to make room for the other guests who have, I guess, like reservations to get into the land. So that'll be interesting to see.
Like, it might be that like they might have a special fast pass, like you said, that tells them when they could go in the land, but then also has a time limit, probably like a 4 or 5 hour time limit. And then when that time is up, they can't purchase food, drinks, merchandise, or go on rides.
Okay. That'd be another good way to sort of block people out of that.
They could easily do that with the current fast pass system.
Disney, if you haven't already, get on this. Give us royalties for coming up with the idea. I'd love to get a fat Disney paycheck every month for $1,000 at the minimum for coming up with this idea. But in any case, I'd love to see if they actually do something like that, because then I'd actually be right for once. That would be cool. Let's see. Moving on from Galaxy's Edge, if you guys have any other thoughts about how the logistics of Galaxy's Edge will work, say in chat, comment down below. We'd love to hear your guys' ideas. I'm sure there's people out there who know more than us about this. Yeah, moving on. There is an article. Where was this article from? Okay, Disney Studio Chief Sean Bailey sat down with The Hollywood Reporter to reflect on 2018 and discuss Disney's future. There's a lot of bullet points from this article from WDW News Today. I figured we'll go through most of them. Some of them aren't really that interesting, at least to me. But you guys can read the full article if you'd like in the description below. First bullet point has to do with the Lion King live-action remake. Let's see. What was his name? Sean Bailey. So this is like I said, the studio chief of, I guess, Walt Disney Pictures, talking to The Hollywood Reporter. And he says that The Lion King will not be a shot-for-shot remake, which might be relieving to some of you guys, or might be the complete opposite of relieving to some of you guys, because I know a lot of people were sort of, what am I trying to say? I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just going to read what he said. I'm going to quote from the article. He said, quote, "The Lion King is a revered and beloved movie, so you'd better revere and love those parts that the audience wants. But there are things in the movie that are going to be new." And he also added more clarification to claims that this is a, quote, live-action remake, even though the entire cast will be completely computer animated. He says, "It's a new form of filmmaking. Historical definitions don't work. It uses some techniques that would traditionally be called animation, and other techniques that would traditionally be called live action. It's an evolution of the technology he's referring to Jon Favreau, John used in the Jungle Book, because Jon Favreau I think he's directing The Lion King, and he also directed the Jungle Book. So that's great news. If you guys were worried that The Lion King would just be a shot-for-shot remake of the original, what other movies did they do? I think with the Cinderella live-action movie, I haven't seen it, but to my knowledge, it wasn't necessarily a shot-for-shot remake. I think they added more stuff with the prince, maybe. I never saw it again. I don't even remember anything from the Jungle Book. I think that one was mostly, it could have been shot-for-shot, with some new added elements. And yeah, Alex, what do you think about The Lion King not being a shot-for-shot remake?
I think that's good, because it helps differentiate the movie from what's already a beloved classic. I think that Chris from LMG Vid said it best, but he wasn't mentioning movies. He was talking about rides. But but he did say that it's okay to basically like make something, you know, like recreate something that was already created, as long as it looks different than the original. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of think that fits in this scenario, because I remember I was telling people, like, not even a week ago, that I was upset, because I'm like, if this is a shot for shot remake, it's just, whether it's good or bad, it's a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Because I felt like if it were bad, then, and people didn't like it, then every time someone watches the original Lion King, they're going to remember, oh yeah, do you remember that new one that they made that was really terrible? And the next thing you know, that's all people are going to see. It's like when Family Guy makes a joke about your favorite movie, and you can't watch your favorite movie anymore. Uh-huh. You know? And then if the Lion King movie ended up being really good, then every time you try to watch the original, you're like, oh, you know how much better the new one is? And then it's like, it just, so either way, it would just ruin, a lot of people's perception of the original.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, at least for me, but I know some other people that would agree with that comment. So, yeah, so I'm just kind of glad that this one is going to be different. Hopefully, it's going to be very different. I don't mind if they have some similar scenes, but hopefully, it's very different. So.
Yes, I agree. I hope it's good. First thing first, I hope it's not terrible. But then again, who knows? The Aladdin movie isn't looking so hot for me right now. But let's see. Moving on to the second bit. This one was I shook my head. SMH. I shook my head in real life when I read this part of the article. The title of this part is Jungle Cruise could become Disney's next big franchise. So, I guess they might be looking for something to replace Pirates of the Caribbean, since Pirates was their big, I guess, live-action franchise for a while. But then again, we're going to be talking about Pirates of the Caribbean after this, so it's I don't know. I don't know what to think. Disney has hopes that The Jungle Cruise will be successful enough to warrant making it into a new series. The creative team seems to be taking a cue from Pirates. Quote, we'll tip our hat to the Disneyland ride in a couple of places, but it's a wholly invented new story and a hoped for series of movies. Thank you. Are you reading along? If you are, okay. That's absolutely perfect. Thank you.
I'm just here to correct you whenever you're wrong.
Let's see. Yeah, wholly new story and a hoped for series of movies with the same star power of I'm all out of sorts today, you guys. With the star power of Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt, the new and the IP of one of the most iconic Disney park attractions of all time, it's possible that we could be seeing more Jungle Cruise movies down the line. So that, I was very, like I said, SMH. I shook my head in real life. Alex is choking right now.
Choking.
I'm trying to think.
I'm dead.
How many Disney movies has Emily Blunt been in so far? She's been in Mary Poppins Returns, Jungle Cruise. I think. No, she was in Into the Woods. Is that a Disney movie? I think it is. Someone said it was.
What? I don't think that's it. Well, I don't know.
I need to look it up. Into the Woods. I'm pretty sure someone said it. Yes, it is Disney. Perfect. So that's.
Wait, I'm thinking of Into the Wild.
What is? I've never heard of Into the Wild.
There's Into the Woods, Into the Wild, and like Into the something. Oh, I know Into the Woods. I wanted to see that, and then I didn't want to see it.
Okay. Let's see. Scrolling through, I think those are the only two Disney movies she's been in. Romeo and Juliet. Have you guys seen Romeo and Juliet? I guess she was in that one. My Little Pony the movie. If you guys are into that, I think those are the only ones so far. So she seems to be like the new rising star in Hollywood, at least from what I'm seeing, because she was in A Quiet Place, which was a very good movie. Into the Wild is awful, says Saludos amigos. I don't know what that movie is.
The first movie I ever saw her in was Devil Wears Prada, and she did a really good job in that movie.
Mm-hmm. I think she stutters. I saw an interview with her that said she stutters, and it's always cool to see actors who stutter and then they don't stutter in the movies. If that makes sense, I don't even know. But yeah, so back to the Jungle Cruise, I guess. We sort of went off on a completely different topic there. Yeah, I don't really. I guess I'm just tired of franchises. I'd like Disney to make a good movie and then another good movie, and then another good movie, and then maybe like 3 or 4 years down the line, they could make a sequel to one of the movies they made previously that was really good. I'm just tired of seeing your Pirates of the Caribbean franchises. Pirates of the Caribbean, first movie, great. Second movie, this is pretty good. It's not as good as the first, but it's still okay. Third movie, not as good as the second, but it's still pretty decent. Fourth movie, wow, what happened there? And then fifth movie, of course. We don't talk about the fifth movie just because of how terrible it was. I think I fell asleep when I saw the fifth Pirates of the Caribbean movie. It was interesting. Yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm just tired of franchises. Man, I was listening to the Mary Poppins Return soundtrack the other day, and I was thinking in my head, because Jeremy and I and Alex were having a conversation in our little group chat that we have about Mary Poppins Returns, and I don't know what got me thinking about this, but I guess minor spoilers for the movie if you haven't seen it. It's basically a remake. It's not even a remake of the original Mary Poppins. I don't know what to call it. What would you even call it? Okay, well,
it's like where you take like your favorite image, you put a thin sheet of paper over it so you can copy over it with your own pencil and then call it yours.
Yeah. That's exactly very good way of putting that. But in my head, while I was thinking about that, I was comparing it to A New Hope and the way they did The Force Awakens, because The Force Awakens was criticized for just being a remake of A New Hope, which, I mean, it was essentially a remake. But again, they had to introduce all the new characters and all that jazz, and it got me thinking, since they did it with Star Wars, and then they went on. I mean, of course, they were always gonna make, a new trilogy after for The Force Awakens. But since The Force Awakens was essentially a remake of A New Hope, and how Mary Poppins Returns was essentially the Force Awakens version. What am I trying to say? I know what I'm trying to say, but I cannot put it into words. Mary Poppins Returns is the Force Awakens of the Mary Poppins franchise. And I was kind of thinking to myself, what if they did that so they could make like 5 more Mary Poppins movies later down the line with Emily Blunt and with Lin and Manuel Miranda guy. And that sort of got me really sick in the head.
See, now you're catching on to their strategy. Mm-hmm. Because I've been saying this for years. Is like that's what they do, is like that, like not just Disney but Hollywood. They remake a movie in the 2010s and then they go, okay, we remade it, and people love it. Now we can turn it into a franchise.
Yes.
And that's what all of Hollywood's been doing. And at least I'll circle back around to Jungle Cruise now. So, but my whole opinion on this whole thing about turning Jungle Cruise into a possible franchise is not every successful movie needs to be a franchise.
Yes.
Exactly. I just feel like franchises used to be something where it was like an accident that it became a franchise.
Yeah.
Where, it was like for instance, like Alien. Alien was such a great movie that like later on people were like, let's make a sequel just to see like where the movie can go.
Mm-hmm,
and then James Cameron made the sequel, and then it was really good. And then, 10 years later, they said, well, now people want to know where Ripley is now, so let's make a third movie. And then it just so happened that like by the fourth movie, people were calling it a franchise. So it was accidentally a franchise.
Yeah.
But now today it's like everything is intentionally a franchise.
Exactly.
And even then, that being said, whether or not your franchise is accidental or intentional, there doesn't need to be a sequel to every successful movie.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what my thing is. I'm getting tired of the whole sequels and franchises thing.
Yes. I completely agree with what you said. I feel like I don't even know what like the right way to do a franchise would be, because it's not good if you plan out a franchise of movies, of like sequel movies, like say, gosh, I always hate to rag on the DC movies, but if you plan a franchise and sort of rush it without taking into account if each individual movie is good, then the people are gonna realize that, and they're not gonna give the movie as much money as you guys have seen from the DC cinematic, universe movies. I guess everybody always circles back to Marvel as the right way to do a franchise because, they started small with Iron Man and they slowly built up, with Captain America, Thor, and then what were the other ones? I think those were the only 3 characters who got their solo movies before the Avengers, but they slowly built up, their movies and their universe, and they weren't even, I guess, basically intending it to be a franchise. I'm pretty sure most of them were expecting the first Iron Man movie to do really bad, but then, people loved it.
I think after they made the first Iron Man, they realized then that they could make a franchise. But because you see, what happened was they have these movies, and then Disney remade those movies, which were only made recently, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
They remade those movies in order to tie them into the what do you call it? The Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
So like, for instance, like I remember when the Amazing Spider-Man came out.
Oh my gosh, that's another good example. Yeah,
you remember the Amazing Spider-Man? So my dad bought that movie when it came out. I like the original Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire, but anyway, so my dad bought the new the Amazing Spider-Man movie, and then Disney made a sequel to that, I think. And then, like, not even a few years later, Disney was like, you know what? We want Spider-Man to be part of the Avengers. So
that wasn't Disney that made the Amazing Spider. That was all Sony before the contract. Yeah, the Amazing Spider-Man movies and the ones with Tobey Maguire were all Sony, and then Disney and Marvel stepped in and said, stop making bad movies about Spider-Man. And then that's when he went to Civil War.
Wait, but Disney made Spider-Man Homecoming, right?
Yeah, but after The Amazing Spider-Man 2 did horrible in the box office and got really bad reviews, Disney and Marvel went to Sony to write up some sort of contract that allowed them, because Sony owns the movie rights to Spider-Man, and Disney, they came up with some sort of, I don't know like the logistical terms, but they came up with some sort of contract that allowed Sony's character Spider-Man to be used in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I think Sony gets like all the profits from like the toy sales or something, but Marvel and Disney are like the complete they have complete creative control over how the movies are done.
Oh, okay. Well, because I knew the Tobey Maguire one Disney, but I didn't know the Amazing Spider-Man movies were Sony still. Okay, well then just forget everything I said.
Well, no, that was you were getting to a really good point, because the Amazing Spider-Man franchise or movies is another really good example of like what could happen if you try to plan out a franchise. If you prioritize the franchise of the movie and of the IP that you have over the quality of of each individual movie, because I'm sure, I don't know how many of you guys have seen the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but the first one was okay. The second one is where it really went off the rails, where they were having like all sorts of just random Easter eggs to set up the rest of the Amazing Spider-Man franchise, which of course never came to fruition because the both of the Amazing Spider-Man movies were awful, and the people, you know, voted that they were awful with their wallets. They didn't see the movie. The critics gave it bad reviews, and yeah, so that's another good example of a bad way to do a franchise. I guess the point we're trying to get at is to focus on an individual movie before the idea of turning it into a franchise even pops into your head, because, you know, you've seen how bad things can go. Did you guys see that King Arthur movie that was recently released? I think, what was his name? I think Guy Ritchie was directing that, and I think he was originally signed on for like 5 more King Arthur movies. Like, they planned it to be this big, you know, King Arthur mythological franchise of movies, and then the very right out of the gate, the very first movie was terrible. I didn't see it, granted. I read that it was terrible. I saw the box office didn't do nearly as well at the box office as some of the other movies, or at least that they were expecting, and then they just flat out canceled the rest of the... I need to burp. Excuse me. And then they just flat out canceled the... Do you guys know which movie I'm talking about? The King Arthur... I can't remember who's in it, but it was like a King Arthur movie that came out either this year... Excuse me, I think it was this year, and they had that planned out to be a whole franchise of movies, and then they failed because they were focusing, their mindset was not on making a good movie, their mindset was on how much money can we make from this franchise of movies. The first one doesn't even have to be good, they don't even have to be good, they just have to make a lot of money. That's basically the mindset a lot of movie companies have nowadays, and it's starting to, you know, Disney's starting to catch that. Yeah, Disney's starting to catch that franchise virus. You know, I guess that's the main point we're trying to get at. So I hope the Jungle Cruise is good. I hope it doesn't flop. I hope, like I said, they're focusing on just this one individual solo movie of the Jungle Cruise, and if it does well, then they can start to look into the other options of like a sequel, a third movie, maybe a spin-off movie. I don't know, it's up to them, but as long as the quality of the movies are good, I don't think people will care as much if it's in like this, if it turns into a franchise or whatever, because, you know, with Marvel, it's consistently hit after hit. Each movie is great. Of course, there's some exceptions. Just do what Marvel's doing, Disney. Plan small at first, then build your cinematic universe, your franchises, and that goes out to all the other studios out there who are trying to make stupid King Arthur. Who would want to see like 5 movies dedicated to King Arthur? That's one of the stupidest ideas I've ever heard. Anyways, that was like one of the... How long did we talk for? Anyways, moving on to another failed, I guess not necessarily failed, another Disney franchise, Pirates of the Caribbean. Disney wants to give pirates a kick in the pants, according to the new screenwriters from Deadpool, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick. Bailey seems... This is a quote. Well, it's not a quote that he said, it's a quote from the article. Bailey seems optimistic that moving forward without Captain Jack Sparrow and with a new set of screenwriters, the people I mentioned before, could end the franchise's stagnation. Quote, "We want to bring a new energy and vitality. I love the Pirates movies, but part of the reason Paul and Rhett are so interested is that we want to give it a kick in the pants, and that's what I've tasked them with." I don't really know what a kick in the pants is supposed to mean. I mean...
And what side of the pants? The front of the pants or the back of the pants?
I mean, yeah, it could go either way. Yeah, I guess he's sort of... I don't know what to make of a kick in the pants. What kind of a quote is that?
I know.
I guess he's referring to sort of bringing new life to the franchise, but why didn't he just say, we want to bring new life to the franchise, make it interesting again, and he just said kick in the pants. I don't even know. There's really not much to say about this. We've talked about Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Like,
But you see, this is what we were just talking about, was where a company goes, oh, you know what? Let's just make a franchise for the sake of the money. You know, instead of creating one movie to test the waters, they just go, let's go straight into a franchise.
yeah.
So this is what they want to do with the new Red character. And they literally said, we want to, you know, rehash the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. They didn't say, oh, we're going to make one movie. They said, we're going to make a new franchise. And that just made me so mad. I'm like, so basically it doesn't matter if this movie isn't the best. It's going to be a franchise anyway, because they were making so much money off of Johnny Depp's character and stuff like that, and those movies, that when things started getting stale, they were just like, well, we need more money. So we're going to go ahead and just, you know, start selling more Pirates movies.
Yeah. I guess credit where credit is due. To my knowledge, the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie was just meant to be like a solo pirates adventure with Jack Sparrow and with Will Turner, the guy from The Lord of the Rings. And then Disney came in and was like, wow, that made us a lot of money. Let's make another one so we can make even more money this time. And it's just the same thing over and over for the next 15 movies they made, and they were all terrible except the first one again. Basically just mirror what we said for the Jungle Cruise and just copy and paste it onto this about the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. You know, when I was a kid, every year we went to Disneyland, my parents got me one of those toy swords with like the gold. I still remember it. I think they still sell the exact ones to this day too. It had a gold hilt, and it had, or I guess like a gold thing that you hold on to. Is that called the hilt? I guess so. And it had, gosh, I can picture it in my head. It's really hard to describe. It had this black, the name of the thing that you put the sword into, and it had the holster, not the holster. The sheath. Is that what it's called?
The sheath. Yeah, I want to say the sheath.
Something like that. Yeah, that was black, and I still remember the texture of that. It was rough, almost like you glued sand, like maybe grains of sand, maybe like that big, to like a plastic thing. And yeah, I still remember the texture of it, and it had a loop on it, so you could put your belt through the loop and attach it to your hip. And yeah, the hilt was gold, plastic gold, of course, painted gold, not real gold. And it had the protector thing that like sort of curves off, and yeah, the hilt had like little ovals cut into it. I think they still sell them to this day, and I don't know what that has to do with what we were talking about. I just thought you guys would think it was interesting. I broke every one.
I thought there was a point to that story.
No.
I'm waiting for you to get to the point. I'm like, okay, like what's the about? Oh, okay, well, he's describing it. All right, that's good. And then what's next? What's next? I just want to strangle you.
I guess the point I was trying to get at was that the original Pirates of the Caribbean movies had a big impact on me when I was a kid, because like I said, my parents would get me that sword every time we'd go to Disneyland year after year, because of course I always broke them because I was swinging things too hard and whacking people, and I'd need a new one by the time our next Disney trip would come around. And so kudos to Disney for making my parents spend probably $50 on 3 or 4 swords that I broke. All of that, I probably broke all of them. So yeah, moving on. I don't know what that was. Moving on, the future of film on excuse me, Disney Plus. Sir, here, what is that guy's name? Bailey? Sean Bailey. Sean Bailey details movies that are going to be releasing on the Disney Plus streaming service. They say, right now the studio is planning to have... Listen to this, guys. Right now the studio is planning to have 4 to 5 films a year ready for Disney+. According to Bailey, Stargirl, directed by Julia Hart, has wrapped filming, while Togo, directed by Erickson Core, based on a true story about the dog who led the 1925 Serum Run to Nome, Alaska, is currently filming on location, and meanwhile yes.
What's interesting about that was when I read that line originally, I was like, wait a minute, the 1925 Serum Run to Nome, Alaska. I was like, wasn't that Balto that did that?
Yeah, that's what that's reminding me of. Balto.
Yeah, so
I remember that.
That's what I did. I looked it up, and it was Balto, but apparently Togo was like one of the dogs that led one of the sled teams to go get the serum.
Just remake Balto.
But you see, that's the funny thing is Balto was the one that finished the run, that brought the serum to Nome, Alaska. So Togo is not that interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why? Why are they Togo when Balto was obviously the one who saved the day in the end because he was the one that finished it?
If you guys haven't seen Balto, really cute movie, animated. I don't remember which studio made it. It was probably like 20th Century Fox or something like that. Really cute movie. Go watch it. Along with, there is another one with like a mouse who moves to America. What is his name?
Fievel?
Fievel, yeah! I love that
Yeah.
movie. Those were good movies.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen those, go watch those. They're good. So I
guess...
Those
are my childhood.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, Togo, directed by Erickson Core. Filming on location in Nome, Alaska, I'm assuming. Meanwhile, it looks like Timmy Failure. What the heck are all these? An American Trail, that's what it's called. American Tail. Yes, it's Shaden. Those are good movies.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it looks like Timmy Failure, directed by Tom McCarthy, and based on the book series by Stephen Pastis, has already wrapped and is currently being screened for Disney executives. Why have I not? I've only heard of these just up until now when I read the article. But yeah, so 4 to 5 films a year for the Disney Plus streaming service. That is a lot of movies, and I don't really even know... Excuse me. I don't know what any of the movies are. Stargirl, it doesn't give any details on Stargirl, just that it's wrapped filming. Togo, which is currently filming. And Timmy Failure, based on the book series. Have you guys read those books? Let me know in the comments or in the chat if they're any good, and if you hope or think the movie will be good. I'm sure there's more. There's talk of a Lady and the Tramp TV or Lady and the Tramp series on the show, with a live action Lady and the Tramp, that is. But yeah, I mean, I guess Disney's playing the hardball when it comes to streaming, because they already canceled all the Marvel Netflix shows that they had on Netflix. I don't know.
You know what, though? This whole thing, this lineup of 4 movies so far, sounds like a bunch of B movies.
Yeah, that's almost probably exactly what they are. I don't know if...
I mean, I guess not every movie has to be an A-list movie, you know? But I mean...
It's true.
Yeah.
If Disney's name was not attached to this, and these were the only movies that I knew were going to be on the streaming service, I would not subscribe to the streaming service. Because Stargirl, there is no... I can't even... I'm trying to imagine, like, what Stargirl could be about. Directed by Julia Hart, who made Miss Stevens and Fast Color. I mean, if you guys are big fans of the Timmy Failure book franchise, you guys have a lot to look forward to, though, because they're probably going to make 50 movies of those on the streaming service. already been wrapped and is currently being screened for Disney executives. They seem like Disney Channel movies. Yeah, that's what they seem like, too. Maybe they're going to completely dissolve the Disney Channel, move all their original TV shows to Disney Plus, make their parents pay $50 a month to watch Dog with a Blog. That would be awesome. I'd pay to see Dog with a Blog if it was on Disney Plus.
Isn't Disney Plus supposed to be cheaper than Netflix?
I think that's what I heard. They said it was going to be cheaper than almost all of the other current streaming services out there. I don't even know how much Netflix is a month. I think it's maybe like
$12, I think.
12. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's probably in between maybe $8 to $10 a month. I don't know. I don't even know how much Hulu is. That's probably almost cheaper than Netflix. I'm
Hulu
guessing.
is expensive.
Is it?
I think I remember. Yeah, I think I remember Hulu was like $15 a month.
Let's see. We offer a variety of subscription plans, starting as low as $7.99 or $39.99 for Hulu with live TV. So I guess.
Oh, never mind. Okay, never mind.
If you guys aren't aware, Hulu comes bundled with Spotify Premium if you're a student. You should definitely check that out if you're a college student, that is, not a high school student. If you guys are interested in Spotify Premium, yeah, I think it's like $2 a month for all that. And it comes with HBO too. I haven't hooked that up, but really great bargain.
This podcast sponsored by
Sponsor. Exactly. But yeah, like I said, I guess I'll have to subscribe to the streaming service just because of, just because it's Disney. I'll have to make a review of it eventually.
I think I'll probably subscribe to Disney Plus too.
I mean, yeah, if it's only like $5 to like $8 a month, that's not too bad. That's like a Chick-fil-A meal every month. It's not too bad. But yeah, like I said, if Disney's name was not attached to this, and these were the only original movies that I knew were going to be on it, I would not subscribe to this just because. I mean, I get what Disney's trying to do. They see the potential in having a streaming service. I'm glad they're doing it. I'm sure they're going to have like the whole library of original Disney movies, the animated classics, all that stuff on it as well. That's probably what most people are going to subscribe to it for. And there's also that one TV show that they announced about like Imagineering. So that's one I'm really interested in seeing. And we were all talking, hopefully maybe they'll release like some of the World of Color or Wonderful World of Disney episodes on it too. That would, if it was just like those original episodes and all of the Disneyland TV show episodes, if it was just that, I'd subscribe to it. Because, that's precious footage, guys. I could be using all that crisp 1080p footage in my videos instead of the straight from YouTube 480p versions. But yeah, the people, the mainstream, I'm sure, aren't that interested in that kind of stuff. Maybe it'll be like a bundle plus an extra $1 you get the original Walt Disney's Disneyland TV show. I'd say it's worth it if you're a big fan of Disney history. Because you gotta know, you guys, they have every single one of those films restored and stored somewhere in a crisp 1080p. But yeah, I guess that's it with this article. There really isn't that much to say that we haven't already said in past podcasts. Just that I hope Disney Plus goes well. Maybe this will finally be the turning point for when streaming services are... I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I just hope it's successful and that Disney makes a sequel to Stargirl and Togo. And also the Timmy Failure. What is Timmy Failure? Timmy Failure books. Oh, what? Say 300 pages? Oh my gosh, it looks like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Huh. Well, this could be interesting. They don't say if it's live action or not. This looks more like it'd be an animated movie, maybe. Unless they go live action like they did. Whoever studio made the live action Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies. But anyways, that's gonna wrap up all these main topics for today. If you have anything you'd like to add to anything we've said, you guys can comment down below in the comment section. We read every single comment, or at least I do. I know Alex reads the comments on these videos as well. So yeah, we read every single comment that you guys put out there. But now it is time for everyone's favorite
time to
segment.
say goodbye.
Yes. Well, not just yet, but I low-key want to see a Disney version of Animal Farm. I don't know what Animal Farm is, but it is time indeed for Matt Hosts Ghosts. And again, big thanks to... I'll do the thing first.
Welcome to Matt Hosts Ghosts.
I love that.
It's so cheap. It's good.
I know. I love it. Thank you, Jeremy, if you're watching, for recording those again. Yeah, now it's time for everyone's favorite segment, Matt Hosts Ghosts. We are back again with Nate, who is in chat. Act 3, Part 1 of The Desolation of Oink. If you guys have any spooky stories you'd like to send in yourself to us, they can be real-life paranormal experiences that you'd have. I guess that's what we prefer. I love to hear like a good spooky story told that happened to someone. Yeah, we haven't had a lot of those in a while. That's okay. Yeah, we will read really any spooky story you have, if it's from like your grandparents who lived on an Indian burial farm and they saw ghosts in their house, or if it was like an experience that you had, all is welcome. Or if it's an original piece of writing like Nate and some of the other listeners have made for us, that's totally cool too. We love all of them. We love all of them. But this is the first part of Act 3, which Act 3 I believe is the final part in this saga. Maybe we'll like compile all the acts together and post it somewhere on the Discord for you guys to read in the future if you guys would like to. But let's go ahead and get started here with The Desolation of Oink, Act 3, Part 1. Oh, and also if you guys haven't listened or don't know what The Desolation of Oink is, you guys can go back. We've been reading the story that Nate sent in for the past, what is it, like 4 or 5 weeks? I think it's 5 weeks almost at this point. But yeah, let's get right into this. The Mountaineers have finally gathered to take down Oink and protect Disneyland from his diabolical plan. In the midst of this great battle, Walt Disney himself returns to the mortal world to defend his magnum opus. After descending onto the battleground, Walt angrily confronts Oink. He says, "I know you. You're out to ruin the dream that I've put everything into. All those years ago, you appeared to me in a dream and took me to a place that continues to haunt me. There was tacky colors and theming everywhere, a Ferris wheel with the face of Mickey Mouse, cheap amusement rides. I created Disneyland to get away from that. Now, you're bringing it all here. I will not let you do this." Oink says, "All those years ago, you said Disneyland would never be completed." I just refreshed the page by accident. All those years ago, you said Disneyland will never be completed. I am sticking by what you said. You're lucky I'm not turning your dang park into a museum piece. And Walt replies, "I said Disneyland will never be completed as long as there is imagination left in the world. And going by with what you want to do, there is no imagination left." Oink says, "I've heard this already. Go back to the great magic kingdom in the sky, Walt. You don't want to challenge me." Walt says, "What are you gonna do about it?" In a fit of anger, Oink threw Walt to the ground and ordered his pet Monstro to attack. Luckily, Walt evaded Monstro's attack. He got up and froze Monstro into place. The YouTuber says, Mountaineers, I need you to awaken Elliot the Dragon. He's the only one powerful enough to fight Monstro. I'll go help Walt. Sam says, will do. The YouTuber goes over to help Walt. Walt says, where did you come from? The YouTuber replies, I came with Oink. He's been trying to hold me hostage. My friends and I are here to save Disneyland. Walt says, you must be part of the Mountaineers. The YouTuber says, I am. The YouTuber was confused that Walt knew about the Mountaineers. How do you know about us? Walt says, on the night of July 17th, 1955, I gathered my most trusted men, John Hench, Mark Davis, and Claude Coates, to create an order to protect everything we've done. Over the years, many artists have been chosen by us to be a part of the order without realizing it. You and your friends are part of the Order of the Mountaineers. With you as the new leader of the Order, I gave you a power when you were born. A power that, hopefully, you will never use. Today is the day you must harness that power to stop Oink and save Disneyland. You must become Matt Thanos. The YouTuber was distraught to hear that name again. Matt Thanos was a manifestation of the YouTuber himself, a manifestation bent on death and destruction. The YouTuber says, I'm sorry, Walt, I cannot become Matt Thanos again. I've caused too much pain and destruction. I'm lucky that I'm able to rein him in, or else he'll take control of me forever. Walt says, I'll do everything in my power to prevent that. When this is finished, I'll take you in as my apprentice. I will teach you to control Matt Thanos. But for now, you must harness that great power. I have powers too, but I cannot stop Oink all by myself. Do it for Disneyland. Please. The YouTuber says, do you have a Snapple? Just like Popeye and his spinach, the YouTuber consumed the Snapple and transformed into the strongest being. The YouTuber's skin turned purple and he grew taller and stronger. Matt Thanos has risen. Sam says, Elliot, the dragon, has been awakened. He's ready. Matt replies, good. In time, Oink will be no more. This ends here. And that's the end of part 1 of Act 3. This is the greatest thing I've ever read. I'm laughing so much. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Nate, for your continued loyalty in writing these amazing pieces of literature. Yeah, I'm sure most of you guys will be lost on what all of this means. If you join the Discord server, you'll understand, like, the lore of the server. But yeah, this is amazing. Thank you, Nate. I'm very excited to see what you bring next week in the finale of The Desolation of Oink. And I'm sure you guys are all on the edge of your seats trying to see if Matt and the Mountaineers can defeat Oink and help Walt regain his Magic Kingdom. But yeah, so. Oh, I just realized I forgot to switch to this. Yeah. Anyways, again, big thank you to Nate, and like I said, if you guys have any scary stories you'd like to submit yourself, they can be original stories, or they can be, you know, your own spooky, personal stories that happen to you. You can email them to me, ytmatterhornmad@gmail.com. And I think that's going to wrap up this week's episode of Matterhorn Mondays. We seem to go on for so long. I said to myself, this is going to be a short stream. I got a bad headache, but it's been an hour and 52 minutes, you guys. It's the longest stream in a long time. But yeah, thank you all for coming out today. We hope you all enjoyed listening to us talk, give our opinions on everything, and yeah, everybody say goodbye in chat. This is the last time I'm going to be seeing you until next week's episode. Yeah, how do I normally end this? I can't remember. I guess I'll just say, I hope you all have a great rest of the week. Oh, and also, I hope you all have a happy, safe New Year. Don't drink and drive, please. Oh
yeah, Happy New Year's, everybody.
Yes, Happy New Year's from Alex and I to you guys. Yeah, no anime. You guys were talking in chat. No anime. And, yeah, if you guys have any thoughts you have on any of the topics we talked about, you can comment them down below. or if you have any information on Buzzy, please send your information to the Orange County Police Department. That is Orange County in Florida, not in California. Although I'm sure they'd be able to convey the information from California to Florida. But, yeah. Anyways, we hope you all enjoyed, and as always, have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.